Hi everybody, how are you? Um, my depression's kind of kicking my ass this morning. So yeah, I'm not doing these types of videos anymore. I'm just part of what I do on my channel so far is just this is going to be one of the vlogs. And I really hope I'm not on here too long. But part of it's to show my struggles. And this morning I was kind of like a little bit shaking inside and a little bit anxious and all of it. I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized I had a pretty stressful day a couple of days ago. I did something that was very triggering for me in general. It has to do with issues in the medical field and having to have a new prescriber, drive somewhere that was very, very far away. Any of those things in and of themselves wouldn't be too bad. It would take another video for me to get into my negative experiences in the last couple years with the healthcare establishment I've been working with. It's just not been good. And you're lucky if they see you every like 3 to 4 months and you can't call them. It's just been a nightmare. And it always seems like something else is coming up and I have trouble tackling things that are overwhelming. So that's always gone to the lower priority. And then with my ADHD, I'll forget about it. But yeah, this morning I was reflecting, going, how long has it been since I went back to work? Well, considering that I'm coming out of a burnout and I was out of work for 4 months, yes, I've only come back to work 1 day a week, which has made it possible for me to slowly adjust to it. And I have my emotions about what the F is this burnout and why did I have it, and I just want to feel normal again. My idea of normal. You know, when I was younger, I could work full-time job. Like, what the F? Like, how did I get here, right? So that in itself would be, okay, you give yourself like a month or two to kind of get back to normal, and slowly you would build from there. And then somewhere in there I had my, somewhere in there I had my 50th birthday, and I had wanted to have some things done before that landmark. I was using it as a motivation, and so that was triggering. We never ended up celebrating it. I don't even know why. My fiance had gotten a promotion at work, which is really good. And because of my embarrassment and my shame, it's also triggering to me because he's wanting to work harder to support us because of how I am now. And he didn't sign on for this. You know what I mean? I wasn't like this when he met me. And we don't talk. When I do talk to him, it takes things that I say the wrong way, so then I get insecure and anxious to start talking to him. He perceives me as somebody with all these emotional problems, and he's trying to understand it, and he cares about me, and he loves me, and at this point, he's probably like, I don't even know what to say, you know, because it's been like 7 years now. Honestly, if I was in his shoes, and this is not feeling sorry for myself, but this is, you know, evaluating the situation, reflecting how would I feel if I were in his shoes. making sure I learn what I can from it, to do what I can to improve myself, to get myself back on the track out of this situation, because this is no way to live. Not being able to work and feeling like a failure. And then the two people you live with are worried about you. And then the situation happened with my bank, where they pretty much had been taking my money because they were letting bills go through. And I got it resolved partially. And the good news is that bill that I was like, why did they bill me twice in 1 month? And when you're working 1 day a week as a cashier and you're not making much more than minimum wage, you need that money for food. So yeah, that. And then I had a friend that was like really worrying about me, and she was just like, did you go yet? Did you go yet? Texting me. And I'm like, sorry, Christine. And then my mom got a blood clot in her lung. I feel like she could have died, and she was in the hospital for a week, and that messed me up. And what also messed me up is that the people around me kept things from me. And my mom's friend took my mom to the hospital. It bothers me a lot. They didn't need to do that. I have my issues, but give me a break. That's my job. I'll tell you what. When my dad had an emergency with his hand, I don't care what the F is going on with me. I will drop everything in a heartbeat. And you will see me emotionally get super calm. And I can't even explain it. I think it's like an ADHD thing. I think it's a neurodivergent thing. Plus, we've had enough emergencies and losses in our lives that I pretty much just go in survival mode. Not survival mode. I go into, okay, let's do this mode. And that sucked really bad. And of course, I have to go talk to her. And it's bad timing because I'm sorting through. I don't know if now is the time for me to unmask around my family. I'm the only neurodivergent person here. And they've never seen me. I haven't been like this before. I mean, I should be happy. Since we moved here, I should have been looking for like good opportunities. Like, there's no reason for it. But after I got out of nursing school and Dad passed away and all these things happened, it did something to me. Yeah, I can get into that in another video if you want. Like, I'm afraid to go back to school. I'm afraid something's going to happen to Mom. It's like, it's been 7 years. I could have gotten 2 degrees by now. And we ran out of food, and I have to keep borrowing money from my man to buy food at work. This is pathetic. This is not okay. I'm here. I'm breathing. Could be worse. I don't know why why I have the issues I do. I don't know why things are so hard. I'm going to have to totally shift things in my mind because it's complicated, isn't it? If you have depression too and CPSD, I think any one of those things by themselves, if you're having a neurodivergent burnout. Oh, and incidentally, my new prescriber didn't even know what that was. What the fuck is wrong with you? You work in psychiatry. You've never heard of an autism burnout or an ADHD? I had to explain it to her. It's bad enough that I didn't understand it. And then it happened, so I can't hide it from my coworkers or my boss because I had to take a leave of absence. Can't hide it from anybody. I have family members who are mad that I'm not taking care of my mom. It's a lot, and it's, I can't quit everything. I can't just like run away and join the circus. There's no circus anymore. And I wanted to be there for my mom, and she's worrying about me, and it shouldn't be this way. Yeah. So, oh, good. We're doing good for time. I didn't want to just say much. I guess I just wanted to come in and say I was, if you wanted to follow what's going on with me, it's, I'm okay. Don't worry about me, Alan. I'm okay. This is part of it. It's okay. I'm not going to die. I'm good. I'm just getting it out. And then I'm going to pull myself up from my bootstraps and get shit together somehow. Because that's what I do. That's what I used to do. Ugh. So I filmed myself on Friday. I knew it was going to be triggering for me. I was kind of inspired by my friend Genevieve. If you're new to my channel, her channel used to be called Tales from the Spectrum. It's now Gen V Knight. She's a late diagnosed autistic lady, and she's character. And she had been inspiring me with this channel because I wasn't even sure I was going to do it. And so and it's showing all those embarrassing parts of yourself that I still have shame around. I used to think I was normal. Not that I wanted to be boring and well, there's no normal, I know. I don't. Oh my God. So yeah, I had a trigger day. They made me go in person to this appointment because I have a new prescriber. And there were 3 prescribers in the place I was going, which since I moved was already a drive, and the prescriber I had was letting me do telehealth. So I could see her virtually. Only once in a blue moon would she have me come in to do, a face-to-face. And I get it. I know the rules. You can't be diagnosing, I already had my diagnosis. You can't be giving psychiatric, like depression, antidepressants medicine and ADHD medicines to somebody you haven't met. I mean, the doctors have those rules for a reason. They're there to protect us. For me, I'm like, what is the difference between me sitting in front of you and you seeing my face on a screen? That's a huge, we're not talking inconvenience. So we've got like 3 different triggers. We've got the fact that I'm dealing with this place that I've had a bunch of negative experiences that I'm already pissed off, but I've got these other things going on. Like I need to get a better job. I need to heal my burnout. I need to figure out how I'm going to make money. I wanted to do more videos for this channel. I wanted to clean my house out. I want to do all of these things. I have a lot of depressing shit around me. Like, my relationship's going to go down the toilet if I don't get my shit together very soon. And, I have a lot of guilt, man. My poor guy doesn't deserve that, and he loves me very much. His way of dealing with things is opposite of me. I'm not going to share anything really personal about him because he did it. This is not a right thing for him. I had asked him if he wanted to do videos with me, and he says no, and he's a private person. And if I want someone to respect my wishes, if the situation was reversed and he was doing a channel and I didn't want to be exposed to the public and I wasn't interested in that, I wouldn't want him talking about me. So, I share only so much. I share what would be relevant to what we go through as neurodivergent people, as far as talking about the issues that we probably all go through, right? And because if you're in a relationship with a neurotypical person, it can be tough if you don't understand each other. And I think there's a lot of that. And I think he probably has depression. Since I've known him, he's lost his parents, and I lost my dad, and my mom is in her 80s and she has multiple myeloma and she's doing good, but she just had a health scare and was in the hospital for a week, and now she's on blood thinners, and she still has this blood clot that's in her lung and it's very close to her heart, so something could happen anytime. If I'm not, I have to be realistic about that. This, I hope, never happens, and I hope we have many years with her. And as soon as it's warmer out, I'm going to start taking her for walks, I'll tell you that much. Because I need to go on them too. They help with my depression. Something about getting moving really helps. Okay, I'm about to devolve. So, yeah, I had a day that I knew was going to be triggering, and my friend Genevieve has PTSD about going to the dentist the way I do about dealing with doctors with my ADHD and my negative experiences with the particular place I've been going to and in my past. So every time I have something where I have to go, I'm like, great, what's it going to be this time? And I don't have issues driving places I've never been before, not in general, but it's so far now. The place I was going, which when I moved, wasn't, I could keep that prescriber, even though it was a pain in the ass and it wasn't working for me, and I know I need to get one around here. It wasn't top priority because that's what I need to do to get my medicine. I need the medicine. The medicine is prescribed to me for a reason. I have this problem. It would be bad for me to stop taking this medicine. Taking this medicine is self-care. This is a responsible thing to do, and this is what I need to get better. So I had to tolerate this. I don't even want to get into it right now. I don't even want it. I won't. I almost like the bigger the organization, the more they act like dummies. And I think, sorry, that sounds like really mean. It's just because they have so many patients. The prescriber I had 800 patients before she left. And then they transferred me to having to have a prescriber in another place that's even farther away. And I know that she doesn't do telehealth, but this is who they gave me. So I figured once I got to talk to her, she would understand that that is not an option for me. I can't be driving an hour and a half to go to the doctor's every time. And they need to see you every couple months. Like I said, it's there's safety reasons. It's very important. They need to see you. I don't get to see so I feel like the way the system is set up, because this particular place, and so in the past I could have just easily switched, but then when COVID came, I was having trouble getting any kind of doctor because I ended up they switched me to Steward Healthcare. There was lawsuits. There was this whole thing. I don't know if you're in New England and you watch the news or anything, with Steward Healthcare, and there was all this corruption and they were running them out. I'm like, great, Mass Health gave me Steward Healthcare. And then, like, even before that, COVID, well, of course, COVID ruined everything. People died. It was horrible. I think that must have been, like, collectively traumatic for all of us, especially the people in healthcare. But it's 2025, and the prescriber I had left maybe a year ago. So it wasn't around COVID. And she had like 800, 900 patients. And I guess there were 3 of them. And it turned out they all left. Which I didn't know, but I think I ended up talking to somebody on the phone and found out. Or maybe I don't know. Because I've been going there so long, I can go, what's going on, you know? So imagine a minimum of 800 patient caseload per prescriber. 2,400 patients just got shifted to this other location. And now I don't know how many prescribers they have there. They're taking all that caseload, and this is the prescriber they gave me. And she's an actual doctor. I actually prefer nurse practitioners for myself. It's not important to get into why. But yeah, I had a day where I knew I was going to get triggered, and I started having like an anxiety attack when I was getting ready. And then, so I'm like, I'm just going to film myself because I'm like, this might be a horrible effing idea. And I haven't posted it, and I don't know if I want to. And I thought, okay, but even if I'm late, even if I reschedule it, it will be fine. I'm just going to film myself getting ready, and then, just showing how I deal with when I have situations that are going to spiral into what I now know is probably a meltdown. And then I'm messed up for part of the day. I was able to stop it from crossing that threshold, so that's good. And I figured it would be really helpful. Normally, I wouldn't think that would be helpful. But Jen did that. She's like, I'm taking you guys with me. I have trauma from past experience at a dentist. I don't know, they malpracticed or something. I don't know if they injured her or what happened to her, but she has PTSD from going to the dentist. So everybody's got something. Everybody has something that they struggle with or have a fear about. And especially if you're neurodivergent and you're sensitive to begin with, and you can get meltdowns, that's highly problematic. And you have to go anyway. Especially if you're an adult and you're late diagnosed and you didn't have that support growing up. And the support you had was just do it. Why can't you just do it? That was the support, because they didn't know. So you grow up developing high masking skills because of fear, and you stuff it all inside of you. I think that's why I was shaking this morning. Because then what ended up, I never was able to let it out. The other day, I'm just going to stop it here. It was like a nightmare. It took me over an hour to get to this place. I didn't know what building it was. And it turned out, I drove into the complex where all these health care places are. And this one guy's like, oh yeah, that building's like, oh, you have to drive down here and take a turn. And it turns out that it was in the beginning, before I drove down that street. Long story short, I found out when I got to the place, oh yeah, you can't type in the number of the building. I had the number. I looked it up on Google. I did Google Maps. This is the first time. I'm such a stubborn Gen Xer because MapQuest days, and I don't trust them. So I've literally, oh my God, of all the days for me to try Google Maps and Garmin, because I had both. I had them both on. I guess I don't trust it. And I had them in stereo. Oh my God. I had to turn one of them off. But I'm like, what the heck? When I got there, they're like, oh yeah, you can't actually put the address number of our building. And I'm like, what? There, yeah, you have to type this number. It's not the actual address. But for some reason, you have to type this other random number that how would I even know? So Google was taking me to the wrong place. Then I was 20 minutes late. And honestly, at this point, my anxiety was so high because I was in the car for over an hour and I had to pee. I didn't know where I was. But I don't even know how I did it. Each stage that I wanted to flee or break down, I froze. And I was just like, do it anyway. But I was only thinking of that one thing. I didn't know the other things that were going to go wrong. And then it was like one thing after another the whole rest of the day. And I didn't get back home until 7 o'clock at night, I think. And this is only supposed to be like a half-hour appointment-ish, which was scheduled for 2. Yeah, when I pulled over, I like low-key, I was like panicking. I was never allowed to melt down. I was never allowed to lose it. So I have this whole lifetime of suppression. ABA would be proud of me. But that's really, really bad for your health. So I sat there with it. Started crying like a crazy person. Because I had my pride. Called the place. I figured that I'd be like, hey, I'm lost. Let's just reschedule it. Because I was already 20 minutes late. They're like, no, come in. Oh, and they said, oh, yeah, you have to. They told me the situation and they gave me the actual number of the place to put into Google so I go to the right place. Why did nobody tell me this? Great, so fine. Okay, I get there and they're like, oh, don't worry about it. At this point, I am so freaking raw. I don't even want to be there at this point because I am holding back so much and I'm about to like freak out, lash out, start crying, have to sit and collect myself for like an hour before I could calm down and get in my car and drive home. Like I'm there. So the right thing would have been, actually, if I knew all the other things that were going to go wrong even after this, I would have just gone home. I would have been like, F you guys, I'm out. But guess what? I was out of my ADHD meds. I want to do a video about this soon because for so many years I just refused to take them because I have trauma from how places have treated me like 20 years ago. And it effed up my head so bad that I don't even like to ask for help. I can't tell you how many times, like even 20 years ago, that I'd be like bawling my eyes out at home because nobody should have to go through those things. Ever. And you're just trying to get a medicine that's designed for a particular problem that you have. You haven't done anything wrong. It's horrible. And that was years before COVID. So for, I think probably a good couple decades, I was like, F that. I'm born this way. I'll just deal with it. And then there's grieving with that because it's like, how much better could my life have been if I wasn't struggling in silence? Living under what compared to what I'm capable of is like mediocrity. I can't even talk. It's disgusting. There's no reason for this. There's so many things I could be doing right, you know? Anyway, we got to deal with where we're at. We can't get mad at where we're not because that doesn't fix anything. Yeah. They went to send me for an EKG. because apparently I need to have one to keep taking this medicine. So they sent me into the hospital, and I got lost in the hospital because I already can't think straight, because my anxiety's jacked up. I don't know where the fuck I'm going, and the way they explained it to me was as if I knew what this wing and this building was. They're like, oh, just go here, here. I'm like, I'm not going to remember that. And I said to her, and this is in the psychiatry office. I'm like, I have ADHD. I'm neurodivergent. And when I'm really stressed out or upset, I'm not going to be able to remember. She got a piece of paper that had like all the different places and highlighted it. But still, it's like it didn't like give me directions. It was a maze. I somehow got there. And they did the EKG. And then at this point, I'm so effing wrecked. I've been there a number of hours. I never even wanted to go in the first place. And then, which I knew was probably going to be a problem, but I only had cash because I work 1 day a week as a cashier and I have no money. Like, I literally have negative $9. So I have a little cash was left over from what my fiance gave me so that I can buy food at work. So you have to park in this parking lot. There is no other place to park. If there was a place across the street, if there was anywhere, I would just park somewhere else and walk. So I don't care. It would have been good for me to go for a nice walk. Walk it off. Now, when I got there, I'm like, I know that I need to ask them. I'm going to need to ask them. I bet you it's not going to take cash. I think I asked her this on the phone a month ago when I set up this appointment, or 2 months, whenever it was. So I'm like, please, please, dear God, let that machine take cash. I just wanted to leave. I wanted to leave so bad. I'm like, get me the F out of here. I got to my car and I pulled up to the thing and it didn't take cash. So I had to, and now at this point, the place is closed. Everybody has left. The parking lot's empty. And I'm like, how do I get out of here? Because I had one of those automatic things. So I'm like, I'm going to drive over that fucking curb. What the fuck, man? I'm not dealing with this. This is bullshit. They shouldn't be charging me to park in a parking lot. It's not a parking garage. It's a little tiny freaking parking lot. That's stupid. It's not like anybody was going to park there that didn't need to. You ever see Hitchhiker's Guide? It's like those bureaucracy creatures. No, you have to go do this, and you have to go to this floor and get this stamp, and do. That's how I feel about healthcare. And that is exactly how it's set up. And it has to be, because there's so many moving parts and they take care of so many people. And the bigger it is, the less efficient it's going to be. And that's just how it is. And because I knew it was going to be far away, I set up my appointment for the afternoon. And because they sent me for EKG and do all these other things in the hospital, by the time I came back, that psychiatric office that's right close to the parking lot was closed. Got to my car, tried to leave, wouldn't take cash, came back in, and I'm like, oh, I see somebody in there. Oh, she's going to hide. I know she's going to hide. I knocked on it, and whoever it was left. I knocked a few times. Then I really started, and it's funny because I actually, at different points, I took out my camera. I'm like, guys, I don't know how I'm going to leave. Could you, what the fuck, you know? And if nobody was there, I was gonna like drive over the curb. Knowing me, I'd get something where my car broke down like over an hour from home, not know what to do, and then my phone would have broken down. Luckily, somebody came by and said, oh, there's a machine over here you can use. I'm like, great. So, thank God. And then I was going to try to collect myself to leave. Garmin tried to change my route, said the highway was closed. I'm like, are you kidding me? And the directions it sent me, which it thought was a street, was a parking lot of some kind of either business building or Marriott or something. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to follow it because maybe there's a way to get to this other street from behind there. Maybe it's taking me somewhere. And there's like, turn left here, turn left here. And at the end, it was like a dead end. And I'm like, this is why I don't use these fucking things. The first time I ever used it, this is what happened. So I'm like, fuck it. And I went and I parked and I'm like, I cannot melt down. I cannot melt down. I cannot melt down. I cannot melt down. I called my fiance and I was just like, still holding it in all day, just holding everything in, not freaking out because I knew I am far away from home. I don't have anyone who can come get me. I can't freak out. So I'm in freeze, and I start crying and I'm like, I call him like, Google's sending me here. Garmin's sending me here. And he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean the highway's closed? And he went and checked. He's like, it's not closed. And I'm like, I don't know. It's sending me. He goes, no, you need to go this route. I said, well, it's sending me this route. And I swear to God, like some kind of like short circuit happened in my brain at that point. But I kept going anyway. Oh my God, can I just tell you, I was freaking out internally. And when I watched the footage, you can't even tell. I was like, damn, I look like I'm almost calm. Inside, I'm dying. I'm fucking dying. Oh my God. And I filmed the whole thing. Well, like in little teeny bits. Because I filmed the beginning part. I'm like, oh my God, if I had any idea that was going to happen, any of those things. And then I had lovely Friday afternoon rush hour traffic from this particular place, which I cannot tell you because I won't tell you where I live or anywhere near me. Keeping everything general. As I drive down there, I'm like, he said it's not closed. And then I said, do you think Google will be fine then? I'll turn on the Google on my phone. So I turned the Google on my phone. And then I had hung up with him. And at that point, it was telling me to go to the highway. But as soon as I hung up with him and I got on the road to go into the highway, then it redirected the same way the other one did. But then it said it was like backed up. I'm like, okay, fine. I get it now. It's trying to redirect me and that's fine. And then before I get to the end of the street, that's going to go to the street to get to the highway where I would go a different way. Then it was directing me onto the highway. And I got on the highway because I'm like, fuck it. I have no capacity left. I have nothing left. I am a fucking anxiety-riddled freak out mess, and I am just holding myself together. I don't even know how. I have no idea how. I'm like, just get to the highway. Just get to the highway. Just get to the highway. You'll figure it out. Once you're there, it'll redirect you. I fucking hate Google Maps. I wasn't going to use them. I've never used them in my life. This is the first time I've used them. I'm sure they work fine all the time. People use them all the time. And I hear it's not like how it used to be with MapQuest. I got onto the highway and then it was telling me it kept changing and it was telling me the highway is closed. And I'm like, I'm on the fucking highway, you piece of shit. I was like, started yelling at it. And I was like, what the fuck do you want from me? And then I was stuck on the highway because it was stop and go. Oh my God, it was horrible. And then it would want to redirect me to another highway. And then it was telling me that highway was closed. Apparently, there were issues on all three major highways, even remotely close to me. Because it was rush hour on a Friday afternoon. I could not calm down, even though it was going to, because, like, you know how it'll take you over several different highways because it will look for the most efficient route. when maybe you're like me and you're like, I don't care how long it takes. I don't want to have to worry about going this way and that way. I'll just stay if you can go the long way and stay on one route, which I didn't know you could. But old me would have known perfectly fine because old me would use a fucking map. Old me would have just looked up the directions ahead of time like I normally do. But I'm like, no, I'm old. I need to learn how to trust technology. People use it all the time. It's better now. It's not like the MapQuest days. They're not going to send me somewhere that doesn't exist. It tried to tell me to turn a left when I was at a dead end in a parking lot. I swear to God, the thing was like possessed when I was on the highway. Finally, I'm like, fuck it. When I realized that I could just stay when I just stopped trusting the technology and I turned it the F off and I realized the highway I was on and then I knew using my brain to get somewhere. I'm like, fucking turning these things off. I know how to go now. I'm not relying on this. And then I got myself home. Any one of those things would stress someone the fuck out. Any one of those things would make a neurotypical person fucking freak the fuck out. How I got through it, I don't even know. I'm still mad. I'm still mad I had to go. That's so ridiculous. This is a barrier to care for somebody who has executive functioning issues. How the fuck did I do that with all my executive functioning issues? To be able to think straight through all that, the only reason is fear. Yesterday I was trashed. I was so tired. We were going to celebrate my anniversary and then my fiance had, because of where he works, he has to, if there's snow, they don't have separate people that come and plow. So he had to be there at like 1 or 2 in the morning and plow. So he's out there now. It's like 9:30 and he's out there plowing right now. And yeah, he'll be coming home soon. And I could tell that he didn't want to make plans with me because he's depressed. He's depressed because of... So I'm like, okay. And today's his birthday. And I was going to have this place cleaned for him because he doesn't do like gifts and celebrations and all of that, which is really depressing for me. But my mom's like that now, and that's a separate issue. That's for another video, and it has nothing to do with them. There are other people like that, but it's really lonely for me. And I'd like to celebrate something. I can't just have my whole life about these things I have to fix. I need balance. I need something good too. So, yeah. And today is Super Bowl Sunday, and that is technically when we met. I need to do a radical like shift in my perspective. Maybe if I trick myself into thinking I'm moving. I'm ready to snap and chop off my hair and dye it red and fucking throw everything out and just start over. I'm done. I'm so done. I'm so over this. I'm over everything. I'm over my issues. I'm over this mess. I'm over feeling stuck. I'm over feeling disabled. I can't do it anymore. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I am able to do. I am so sick of feeling defeated that I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I've been feeling it coming for a while, but I didn't know if it was going to be a gradual change, like if I was going to be able to kind of come up with some solutions to one thing at a time, fix these things, but I'm ready to just snap. And like, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, maybe that's what it takes for me, not snap like emotionally, like freak out, just snap like, that's it, I'm done. I'm done. And nothing can change my mind. I'm just changing everything. Fuck it. I don't want to say anything yet because maybe I'm just venting. but something's changing. I'm not doing this anymore. Like this whole I'm defeated because, and these situations aren't going to magically change, but I can't allow it to like stop my life. This is no way to live. There's got to be something I can do, something. So things are going to be changing very soon. Hopefully. So I'm not doing this anymore. I don't know if I'm even going to... I put together the footage from what I recorded. But the freak out I did in the beginning of the day that I did record, and I was crying. I'm like, do I want to put this out on the internet? I'm thinking about it. I mean, the people I work with know my channel. My family know my channel. People that I've met at work know my channel. So it's like people I know will see that, and it could potentially affect things in my life. So like if I did find another job, or, you know, and these are real things. These are real things. I've heard other neurodivergent creators talk about this. And this is why people mask, because you don't have a choice. Especially if you're an adult. Because people don't know, and the rules apply to them, so they feel they should apply to you too. So what are the options for neurodivergent people for employment? Where can we find a place that we can ask for accommodations but not have to go through the bureaucracy of getting documentation to prove it, to prove you're not lying, because apparently that's the rules. I don't know who would even do that. That seems ass backwards to me. I don't get neurotypical thinking. Maybe they would fake things. Who does that? It's embarrassing as it is. Oh, we can't do that for you because other people will be upset. I don't give a fuck about other people. I care about them, but that immediately puts the shame back on you. How is that supporting people who have mental health issues and neurodivergence? It's not. It's adding more shame and more barriers. Because the thing that they need you to do to prove that you have a disability is a very heavy executive functioning thing. You have to contact your medical care office. You have to figure out how to get the records. You have to go through all of that. Just some people can't even get health insurance because their executive functioning and their panic for dealing with bureaucracy is so bad that they can't even get the doctors to begin with. So how are they going to be able to think straight while they're panicking and they're having executive functioning issues and their brain is shutting down, and to be able to go through that, which is no big deal for you because you don't have executive functioning issues. Your brain works fine. So fuck you. That's not part of our disability. Did this occur to them? No. You know why? Because these are corporations and these are businesses, and they're focused. That's not their problem. They're there to do a business. They're not humanitarians. They're not social workers. They're there to do a business, and you fit into the culture or you don't. So what do you do if you don't? And what do you do if a lot of businesses and organizations are designed that way, which is fine. That's the world we live in. But what if you can't shape yourself and you've been doing it your whole life and you just can't do it anymore because it's making you sick and it's making you disabled and now you're out of work and you don't understand why and nobody else understands why, and people look at you like you're insane. I had to explain neurodivergent burnout to this prescriber who's a doctor. There's a woman. What's that? Why am I here? Why is it that I have to teach you something? Oh my God. Are you a fucking idiot? What? You're working in mental health. I'm holding my coffee. I'd smack myself in the face. That's another thing. Yeah, my freak out, I was shaking and I was crying, and I don't know if and I'm glad I thought about that before I posted it. I almost just posted it, but like, I didn't know that that was going to happen when I started recording. I thought that I was going to approach it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to freak out or not. But I thought that I could show it because Jen did. And I understood. Like, I texted her. I don't know how I ended up being texting her, if she texted me when it was going on. She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm in the office and the fucking lights are killing me. And oh my God, why are these? And I know exactly. Like, that's not how she is. That's because her sensory issues were jacked the fuck up, because she had all this anxiety before she even got to the place, and she is feeling like a crazy person. So I was texting with her, and I'm like giving her advice of what would help me and hoping that would help her. And I'm like, your symptoms are bad. Your symptoms are just bad because you're upset. It's okay. It's not your fault. I'm like, take a deep breath. I don't remember what I said to her. And she's like, oh. And I said something to her. I don't know what I said to her, but it's like, because she was in the middle of her internal freak out, you're not thinking. If you're in panic mode, that's like a primitive part of your brain. It shuts off thinking because it thinks there's a bear that's going to come eat you. It doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know that you're not in danger. I'm just sick of everything being so hard. I've always had to be really resilient. And the thing that's kept me stuck is when I'm in a situation that I don't have a solution. It's like not okay for me. Yes, if there's something, like, for instance, if I got paralyzed, I couldn't convince myself that I could walk. I could, like, some people with your state of mind is everything. You can be in a very tough spot, either with, car accident, physical disability. You could have two people with the same exact thing, whether it's a life-threatening disease, or let's say you're close to death. You could take two different people in the same exact health situation, and that mindset will make the difference of life and death for them. And mindset will make the difference of you can find a way, because it could be that there's a way we don't see. But I've been ruminating a lot the last, I don't know how many years, trying to come up with different solutions to things, short of like throwing my stuff away and running away, which is not rational. And where would I go? And how would I pay for that? You can't just, yeah. So I got through that day, and it wasn't a big deal. I mean, people deal with that shit all the time, but I think the fact that I was already having that much anxiety, and it was so hard to get myself to get into the car. Sometimes if something's super emotional for you, if it's something you've been through and it's so triggering, like I'm not even going to use this example. It's a totally different thing, totally different topic. We'll get in that another time. And then also people I know. For somebody who thinks this is no big deal and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put it this way. If something was traumatic for you and you had to go do this thing that is attached to the traumatic thing, it's really hard to be yourself and think straight, even if you're neurotypical. So like if you were stalked and you were dealing with, and I have been in not good relationships. I'm not just saying this. And you have to go to the courthouse to get a restraining order, and that person's in the room. Fear anywhere that you have to drive down to the area you know they live. Like that feeling, and hope that you don't run. That's what I'm talking about. And you may be like, oh, well, you're just going to a doctor's appointment. True. This one is not like, I don't think somebody's going to come stalk me, hurt my car, beat me up. Thank God. But this was traumatic experiences I've had in healthcare. But they're emotionally. And it didn't get this way right away. This is a lifetime of them. This shouldn't happen to anybody. And I'm a proud person, and I'm a smart person, and I'm a capable person. And I'm somebody who has overcome a lot. So I know I'll get through it. But emotionally, it puts you in that same place, that type of place. So that whole fight or flight, when it is before you're even leaving the house to go to this thing, you're not thinking straight. So then imagine piling on top of that, getting lost. And then, oh, by the way, if you put in the address, you're not going to go to the right place. And then you're there and like, they fit you in. And now I'm upset because I just wanted to go home. I made myself call them because I was like, nope, you're not going to do this anymore. You're a grown woman. You can't just flee just because you're panicking about a doctor's appointment. You're going to call them and maybe just pick up the phone and call them. So each stage I just made myself do shit anyway, which is how you get better at it, you know? And that's how it is for exposure therapy for people with phobias. It's not quite to that level, but it's similar feeling. That kind of feeling, like you're freaking out. I can't even believe I did all of that. And I was so upset. I was so upset because it was like, and there's nobody to get mad at. There's no one to get mad at. It's life. Life's not fair. There's a saying, if anyone tells you life is fair, they're lying to you and they're not helping you. You have to build resilience. You have to be able to, and it sucks. And each of us is very different in what we can tolerate. And if you have something and you're attempting to do it and you don't do as well, I don't even know how I did that, because I think because I was so far from home and the fear of not being able to have something bad happen and not be able to be mentally with it enough to get home safe scared me more. So it was fight or flight the whole entire day. And I feel stupid. It's just a fucking doctor's appointment. I feel so dumb. And seeing Jen go through that for the dentist, if somebody didn't go through something like that, they would think that's dumb. They wouldn't know because they didn't experience what she went through. And I think that's probably the same for a lot of us. If you're a neurotypical person and you're a guy, or you're somebody who's never had challenges in life, maybe that would not be something you'd be sympathetic to because you didn't experience it. But yeah, everybody has something that's like their worst fear or the thing that's triggering for them. And for me, it has to do with a lifelong experience, negative experiences around my ADHD, neurodivergence, and issues I've had in the medical field. And I am intelligent. I am capable. I'm not a hypochondriac. But you're not going to have, it takes a long time to build up a relationship with your primary care. It's an hour, a primary care or a prescriber. And then to suddenly have a new one, that sucks any one of those things by themselves suck. I had them all in one day. And the fucking Garmin and Google kept changing how I was going to get home. You guys are going to be shocked. And then I realized I was driving by the pharmacy And I was like, God damn it. I have to go to the pharmacy because I'm not going to want to go anywhere tomorrow after this. I made myself go to the pharmacy. And it wasn't bad. I was just couldn't deal with anything at that point. I was going to freak out on any little thing. I made myself go in. Luckily, it wasn't busy. And I was shocked. They were actually going to give me the new... If I wasn't holding my phone, I'd be putting my hands in the air. Heaven sings and the sky parts and the clouds part and the rays of sunshine come down. The medicine I've been fighting for so long to try to get, which is what I used to take, which was time released. You know how I say pills through protein? Yes, I have to remember, but part of the reason that I have to go through all this bullshit to write the time I take is so I know when to take the afternoon dose, which I always fucking forget. And so technically, I'm like, I have ADHD. And my executive functioning right now is horrible. My symptoms are horrible. I'm coming out of a burnout. I got all this shit going on and I got to get my life together. And I don't have a lot of time left. And this is life. This is real life. This is not a joke. This is like dress rehearsal's over. I gotta do this now. I don't have any time left. Mom went to the hospital. You know, we don't know what's going to happen when. Life is short. You know, it's time to do this now. You know? Do I want to curl in a hole? And yeah, I do. My depression keeps doing that to me. So it always feels like this constant struggle. Like you're constantly like Sisyphus pushing that boulder up the mountain. And life isn't supposed to be this way. So I just keep thinking there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way we can carve a life out for ourselves that isn't scary, that we don't have to worry that we're a burden to people we love. We are perfectly capable of doing the same things as everyone else, but maybe we need a couple of little accommodations. Maybe we need to just take care of one person at a time and not 5. Because a company wants to be more efficient and they want you to take care of 4 or 5 customers at the same time. No. Maybe we want to work somewhere where the beeping sound does not make us go into a rage and break things and feel like an ice pick going through your brain. Okay, so there was some accommodation that they could make for me, but as far as like the time management and the lateness and my time blindness, there is none for that because people think it's a joke. People think it's an excuse. They don't think it's real. And meanwhile, you're living in it and it makes you feel crazy, but you can't stop it and you've never been able to stop it. And it doesn't matter if you take medication. It doesn't matter if you exercise every day. I could become a fucking Olympian and it would still happen probably. There's things I can do to help lessen some of these things, but it doesn't fix it. ADHD medicine helps a tremendous amount and it makes it able, like glasses, if you need glasses, suddenly you can see, but they don't really fix it. They help. Anyway, this was going to be 5 minutes. And it's super negative and I'm really sorry. I'm proud of myself that I did that. And then I wanted to cry because as soon as I pulled up and I had nothing left, I couldn't let all of that out that I've been holding in my body all day long, all that stress. I couldn't let it out because then I had to come inside to be where my family is. And there wasn't any place I could hide. So as soon as I came in the house, I shut down. And he came to give me a hug. I was getting dressed. And he's like, you want me to give you a hug? And I just stood there and I backed up. I swear to God, I was going to freak out on him. If he tried to approach me and touch me, I would have shouted. I would have been like, don't fucking touch me. Because I was so raw and I was holding it in all day. I still have to mask around them. I still haven't been able to really let it out. I just slept. And then yesterday I was exhausted. And then today I was kind of anxious and shaking. And I'm like, why am I even feeling this way? And I think that's why. I don't know if any of this is helpful for anyone or if this is something other people would relate to. I feel insane, but at the same time, I'm like shocked that I held it together enough to, yeah, I think I knew. The fear was stronger. I knew, and I don't know how I stopped it. I'm able, for the most part, I've only had a few times in my life that it just surpassed my ability to suppress it and it turned into a full thing. And then I couldn't go to work for a few hours and I was bawling my eyes out. And then I had to collect myself and go to work. That was one of the times. The other two times I couldn't drive, I couldn't work, I had to take a mental health day. But you know, when you've had enough of them, entrepreneurship can't be the only option we have. There's got to be a workplace that will accept people that all you need is to be a little quiet. All you need is to be able to take care of one person at a time. All you need is to not get upset if the person's 5 minutes late. That's a lot better. When I was younger, it was consistently like, you didn't know. It was like half an hour late, whatever. For me to be within 5 to 10 minutes late, that's good. They don't care. No. Because that's part of their job, to enforce those rules, because that's your job performance. And they have to run a business. I'm rambling like a crazy person. I promise I'm not doing these anymore. I mean, I want to be myself, but at least throw makeup on. And I've been wearing this constantly because this comforts me. I made this sweater. It's ugly, it's gray, but it's soft, and I've been stressed out, and I don't care how dirty it is because it's comforting to me. I'm going to wash it today. So yeah, I'm really sad. My man is out there plowing. It's almost 10 in the morning, and he has been plowing since 2 a.m. I'm mad that they have them do that. They should hire a crew to do that. This particular place, I'm not saying where or what. This particular place has more than enough money. They could hire a crew of people to do that. They don't have to have the people they work there do that. They should hire people who don't mind working night shift. That's really bad for people's health. And driving tired is the same as driving drunk. They've done tests. It's the same. It's bad. Anyway, I love you guys. I guess if I can get through this, even if you can't get through whatever the thing is that's challenging for you, eventually we'll get through it together somehow. Because I don't accept this. There's got to be something. It doesn't seem to me unreasonable. Those accommodations are not unreasonable. I'm just saying. Neurodivergent friends, anybody with sound sensitivities that get overwhelmed with doing too many things at one time, let me know. Have you found a work that you could do that is accommodating to your ADHD or autism, and what worked out for you? Because the more people I talk to on here, the more I realize that a majority of them are not working. And that's not okay. We need neurodivergence to be the next diversity training. I find it hard to believe that corporations couldn't make those kinds of, that they're that rigid that they can't make accommodations for people who work a little bit differently. And what they're giving up, out of the box thinking, innovation, advantage over other companies. There's an entire workforce of people, an entire demographic of people that aren't working, that should be absolutely be working, and they might have family they're trying to support. Are we supposed to be supported by our aging parents? Are we going to be homeless because companies don't care and you won't tolerate somebody being 5 minutes late? Who is willing to stay even way later? I will do anything, with anything that's morally, ethically, legally, anything that's not harmful to me. I'm flexible, but it's not good enough. It feels like the Matrix, doesn't it? It feels like there's this system and it doesn't think, it's not profitable. They got it down to what works for them. All right, I'm going to go. I think another thing that was kind of bumming me out is I don't have any food. So I think I have $5 in cash. And I'm maybe $7 and I need it for my dinner tomorrow night. I found a roll. I had some bread with some butter. Got my coffee and I had a yogurt. And I think there's an apple, so I'll have something. Ramen. But yeah, I'm finding out. I feel like saying come hell or high water. I want to find something. And if somebody is out there working towards, God, I'm so not a person that goes towards causes because I know I can't even cope with my own life. So I don't have any resources within myself to help towards any causes. But if there was an organization that was helping normalize this issue and make it things that employers are aware of and not just the stereotypes of ADHD or autism or both, all of the different presentations. And just because somebody seems normal doesn't mean they're struggling. It means they're high masking. You can't tell by looking at somebody how much they're struggling, which was kind of a shock to me when I was like starting to learn about this a couple years ago, a year or two ago. There's so much I didn't know. I love you guys. I'm tired. My brain's stopping. I'm going to go. I have an apple. I'm going to go have an apple. I'm going to take a hot shower. I think maybe Tuesday. We'll see. If I get like a moment at some point, if I still feel like I'm carrying all this stuff around in me because I still feel it in there and there's no appropriate way for me to release it, I don't shout, I don't act out, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't have an outlet. I have to fix my life and I don't have functioning executive function to do it. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. If you're even watching this, you're an amazing human being and I'm sorry. I'll see you guys later. Bye.